CEO of Alumni in Recovery, which hosts this virtual event that we do every couple of months. And it's a really important event here in Bergen County because Prosecutor Musella and I together talk to different police within Bergen County from different towns, and they talk about what they're doing for their community. And we always have a resource alongside. And tonight we have New Jersey Reentry Bergen County Director Alex Roth with us. And we also have Rivervale Police Department Sergeant Chrisopher Yu, as well as Hackensack Police Department's Detective Matthew Antista. And we just have a great night tonight. So first of all, I just want to say that August 31st, we all know, was Overdose Awareness Day. And this is Recovery Month, this full month of September. But Overdose Awareness Day, we Alumni in Recovery alongside the Black Poster Project. And as you can see in the pictures, there are the Black Poster Project. Many of the posters right there. Actually, the podium was on the other side. Oh, there's Prosecutor Musella, and that is Dee Gillen. Actually, yeah, that was nice. She gave you that nice scale, right?
Yes, I have it in my office. It's right here. Beautiful.
Good. She's gonna like that.
It's art.
She's on here somewhere too, by the way. But we're just really grateful that you allowed us to work alongside you for Overdose Awareness Day. And it was really Dee Gillen's idea to begin with, right after the walk that we had back in April. She said, let's do a Black Poster Project Alumni in Recovery event just for law enforcement for the prosecutor, because he's just been so helpful and he's just such a wonderful partner. So here we are on August 31st. The prosecutor's office put together a marvelous event. There were so many people there from so many different walks of life. And that's exactly why we do what we do, because we want to bring people together. This is why we have these programs. So we have a platform to talk about addiction awareness, substance misuse, and how we can all work together to help save lives. Everybody in the county. And there's I don't know how many people. Is there like 1 million people in our county? Would you say?
There's 1 million people. Yep. Almost 1 million people in Bergen County.
Okay. So if all 1 million of us work together, I'm serious. If we all start just taking a little time to pay attention and have these deep discussions and conversations like we're going to have tonight, I think we'll actually get somewhere. But I do want to thank Dee Gillen for all of her hard work with the Black Poster Project, because she works really, really hard. And she does all these posters herself. And she is a mom that lost her son, Scott, back in 2015. And she's decided to just create posters for anybody that wants to put their child into the Black Poster Project. She has 500 posters, and she's going to be displaying them at Bergen County Plaza, Bergen County Plaza, for the county Department and Division of Health, Mental Health and Addiction Services on October, I want to say October 11th through the 13th. Don't quote me on that. So I just wanted to do just a little bit of mention of those things, because these are the things that we do together. But tonight is all about talking about law enforcement and the police and what they do for us every day, and how they show up on overdose calls and have been doing so for like 15 years now, like on too many thousands in Bergen County. And I just want to say thank you to you all. It's important we recognize all the efforts that you put in all the time. It's not just overdose calls, it's all the mental health and all the addiction calls that you show up on, and how we can all find ways to work together and support you as well, because you do so much work for us. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to you, Prosecutor Musella.
Thank you, Nancy. Thank you for having me here tonight. I look forward to this event every month. And again, I want to just thank you for your passion and all your hard work, and really for being an inspiration to us in law enforcement. and for coming up with the idea of this event. This was Nancy's idea to thank men and women in law enforcement. And I think it's important that we do that because you guys are on the front lines every day. You guys are fighting this fight, and you know, we're winning. We're winning this fight, and it's thanks to your hard work. So I want to thank Nancy for asking me to be here tonight. I want to thank her for putting this event together. I want to thank all our partners, and I will at the end of my comments. But you know, I want to thank Dee Gillen for the Black Poster Project again, for all her hard work. It's very inspirational, and Lisa Gladwell as well, and all our partners that we work with. You know, you guys are really standing shoulder to shoulder with us in this fight. But tonight we thank our law enforcement officers, the men and women that are fighting every day. You're innovators, you're role models, and you're compassionate public servants. And you know, your response to this crisis has been heroic. So it's events like this that you know, when we get together, these events help us to connect people to treatment. They help us to end the stigma that's associated with substance abuse disorder. And I believe it's events like this also that help us save lives and help us, you know, further the fight. So tonight I'm going to talk a little bit about the opioid epidemic. I'm going to talk about some numbers. It's so important. First and foremost, it's important to talk about the drug overdoses that have been going on in this country. Last year, according to the CDC, for the first time, more people died of an overdose of a drug overdose death than ever before. We surpassed the 100,000 point, and those are persons, and that was the first time that we surpassed the 100,000 point, and so more people have died as a result of a drug overdose last year than from car accidents, the flu, and gun crime combined. So when you think about it that way, those numbers are staggering. But I can tell you that the numbers did not increase in New Jersey, and we in law enforcement at the prosecutor's office, we believe that is because of the forward thinking of the men and women in law enforcement in Bergen County, and because of the partnerships that we have and the initiatives we have with partners such as Nancy and Dee. So I want to talk about three things tonight that I talk about at all these events, what we are doing to help fight this opioid crisis. And those three things are always, they start with and they end with prevention, connection, and diversion. So regarding prevention, many of us in law enforcement know that the detectives in the Bergen County Prosecutor's Office are also fighting this disease every day. I have men and women in the Narcotics Task Force that are intercepting fentanyl and other drugs over the highways that pass through Bergen County, and of course at the George Washington Bridge, and they're there every day patrolling the highways and the bridge. We also talking to our students in 7th and 9th grade about pathways to addiction. Our detectives have been doing this for the past 6 years. In this presentation, our detectives talk about the two main pathways we see to addiction, and that's an opioid prescription after sports injury or medical procedure, and or experimentation with substances like alcohol, marijuana, and pills. We are also partnering with the Bergen County's Utility Authority for their quarterly recycling event. We encourage Bergen County residents to clean out their unused and expired medications and dispose of them properly at events like the recycling event or in the local police department drop box. We need to be mindful that there's dangerous drugs in our medicine cabinets and that they need to be discarded periodically, or they can be abused or fall into the hands of our children. The second thing I want to talk about tonight is connection. Police officers in Bergen County play an important role in connecting individuals that are struggling with addiction to recovery. Since 2014, as you again may all know, all police officers in Bergen County, by Bergen County Prosecutor Office directive, carry Narcan. Last year alone, officers in Bergen County deployed Narcan 368 times. That's almost once. That's more than once a day. Well, that's once a day for the entire year. There were 711 overdoses in Bergen County last year, and I'm sorry to say that 155 of them were fatal. Also, for the past 4 years, after a Narcan deployment, officers are mandated to call a peer recovery specialist to come to the hospital where the person is taken and try and connect them with treatment. Now, by state law, officers are required to hand out Narcan to individuals who refuse transport to a hospital. So these phone calls and these handouts are just one of the many ways that Bergen County police officers are creating opportunities for treatment and recovery. Another way that we can try and connect people to treatment is, of course, Operation Helping Hand. Again, many of you are familiar with Operation Helping Hand, and this is where peer recovery specialists sit in our headquarters at the Bergen County Prosecutor's Office in Paramus and meet with those that we arrest and talk to them about treatment. And we are, if they seek treatment, this will help them get their case dismissed if they comply with treatment. So in short, we're using every opportunity we can, every interaction with someone that is suffering from substance abuse disorder to connect them with treatment. Thirdly, I want to talk about our diversion programs that we have. Prior to COVID, we began a pilot program in Fair Lawn. It was the Fair Lawn Municipal Court pilot project. It was sort of like a drug court and municipal court, and it allowed individuals suffering from addiction to be connected to a peer recovery specialist at court and a patient navigator at court and get the appropriate level of treatment that they need. And if they, again, remained in compliance for 6 months, they had their charges dismissed. We expanded that to an arrest initiative where we authorized the officers in Fair Lawn to call a peer recovery specialist or patient navigator at the time of arrest and try to, in order to try and get these people into treatment as soon as possible, sometimes 2 or 3 weeks before their court date. And that was successful. The COVID pandemic interrupted everything, and it interrupted, the work that we were doing in the pilot program. However, because it was successful, we tried to expand it countywide, and I was happy to announce that the Black Poster Project earlier this year, I think it was in April or May, that we got approval from the Administrative Office of the Courts and from Judge Misdall to expand this model countywide. And we are going to open, I had hoped to open it in September, a countywide recovery court, sort of a central municipal court, central municipal drug court, if you will. We have approval. We have now just the only thing, last thing we need to do is get approval from Trenton, and we have been waiting on that. So we're hoping to open that court sometime this fall. And again, recovery court will allow many more individuals from across the county suffering from substance abuse disorder to be connected to a recovery specialist and a patient navigator, and to be connected to treatment or very early on in the process at court. So I want to also take this opportunity to mention something else we're doing, and that is our 800 number, Stop the ODs. This is a 24-hour hotline that is manned by a person. Phones are manned by recovery specialists and patient navigators. So a person suffering from substance abuse disorder can call this hotline and speak to a live person. To date, over 500 people have called this hotline, and 83% of them have been connected to treatment. So as you can see, this is a very effective tool in connecting people to treatment. In fact, it may be our most effective tool to date. Finally, as I mentioned, I want to thank all our partners, the law enforcement officers here tonight. It's an opportunity for me, as the Chief Law Enforcement Officer, to thank the 3,000 law enforcement officers in Bergen County for your hard work and dedication every day, and the sacrifice you make every day in fighting this in substance abuse disorder throughout Bergen County. And I want to, again, I can't thank our partners. I can't thank Nancy and Dee enough, and Lisa Gladwell, but I want to thank the County of Alcohol and Drug Dependency. I want to thank the Center for Alcohol and Drug Resources. I want to thank Bergen Newbridge Medical Center. I want to thank the both Black Poster Project, Alumni in Recovery, and New Jersey Recovery Advocates, and our other partners. And as you can see, we have many partners that are joining us in this fight. So as Nancy mentioned, this is a partnership, and only through working together can we really continue this fight and make a dent, and hopefully one day stop, drug abuse in Bergen County. So I can't thank you all enough for the work you do. And again, thank you for having me.
Well, you are absolutely right. And this is one disease process that is preventable, and I like what you have so many connections within the prosecutor's office, so many different partners, and connections are so important. I mean, we have 70 towns for our county, 70 towns. Everybody's doing something different. And the one thing about the disease process of addiction, it really one of the best ways to recover from it or even prevent is connections. It's one seeks to self-regulate all sorts of emotions and traumas and stuff within them with chemicals. I mean, I'm in recovery. I have been for a long time. And I work with a lot of people in recovery. And the thing is that when we're in the recovery community, we connect with each other all the time, and it creates an avenue and a way to self-regulate without substances. And we live in such a time, and especially during COVID, where we did not have a chance to connect. And that's, it just exacerbated everything. And you mentioned about how we've surpassed that overdose deaths last year, surpassed other things like car fatalities, and you mentioned a couple others.
Combined, Nancy, combined.
Combined. Okay, and here's the thing, that during COVID, we every week had somebody, every day, we got to hear about how we can prevent, how we can take care of ourselves during COVID. And we took all that to heart. We kept listening, just wash your hands. And here's the thing, if we just have these conversations on a regular basis, it will really help, because those are what the connections are all about. And it's not just about just learning, but just listening to each other and being able to talk and process. So, well, Sam, thank you again for giving us that update. And we're gonna now turn it over to Rivervale's Sergeant Chrisopher Yu. And I just want to say that Rivervale is my neighboring town. So I live in Old Japan. And I also just want to mention that our parent program director, because Alumni in Recovery is not just about the recovery community, we also have parent members who have lost their children to overdoses. Primarily, addiction-related deaths, but mostly overdoses, all of them overdoses, actually. And our parent director is from Rivervale. His name is Tom Canavan. And so it's a special town, and you've lost a lot of people in Rivervale. I know that, a lot of young people. And I'm going to turn it over to you now. Thank you. Sergeant Yu.
Just want to first off say thank you, Nancy, for inviting me to be a part of this great event. And again, thank you to the other presenters as well. As always, the Rivervale Police Department appreciates everything that the Alumni in Recovery do for our communities. We're always going to be here for you. We support your efforts in our communities that brings awareness to the recovery process. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Chrisopher Yu. I'm a sergeant with the Rivervale Police Department. I've been with Rivervale for about 5 years now, and I'm actually very blessed to work in the community that I grew up in. I grew up in Rivervale. I lived here all my life. I'm currently a lead instructor, which is law enforcement against drugs, for the 5th grade in both our schools, the Roberge and the Woodside Elementary School, and also an instructor with our junior police academy. Growing up in Rivervale, I knew a lot of people, both professionally and personally now, who have been affected by the opioid crisis and other addictions. But here at the Rivervale Police Department, we realize that it's more than just arresting someone who may be involved with maybe using a controlled dangerous substance. It's more than just responding maybe to a call service for an overdose. It's getting to on a personal level and finding out how we can help and you know, just a little talking and somebody can go a long way, we believe. For just a little assistance, we provide additional Narcans to families, which we hope, you know, they won't ever have to utilize, but it's there if they need it. We contact the recovery specialist for them through the Bergen County Public Safety Operations Center, that's willing to go out and meet and speak with the families and individuals who need the assistance and provide that support. We understand that not everybody will feel comfortable right away speaking to us right at that time, but we're a phone call away and our phones are always on. We're here to help you. I think the biggest part here in Rivervale for us is our lead and our junior police academy. It's been a great opportunity for our town to bring our police department and the youth in our community a lot closer. It's more than just teaching, it's more than just the uniform we wear every day. It allows kids to grow up with a personal connection with us, and it gives them the confidence and support to speak out maybe about an issue that they have or a family member that is having. We just want the public to know that we're here for them and we're always here to help in any way that we can. Again, Nancy, thank you so much, not only for having me this evening, but for all you do for the overdose awareness and recovery. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And we've had the pleasure of being able to go and speak in the Rivervale Elementary School. Debbie Chinisi invites us in. And we're also associated with Pascack Valley High School. And you're doing just, it's so wonderful. Anytime that you ever need any help or assistance and speaking to the kids, we're always available for you. Any of our recovery members. I know Alex Roth, who's on the call here with us. He is actually, him too, he would do it. And thank you very much. And we hope to have you come do more things with us another time. Thanks.
No, definitely. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, so now we're going to turn it over to Hackensack's finest here, Matthew Antista, who is a detective over at the Hackensack Police Department. And
hi, Nancy. Sorry.
I'm telling you, it's both you police officers, you just rose to the occasion right away because we asked you last minute. I know it was right after Labor Day, but you both just pulled it together in 2 days flat. And I really appreciate that. You know, you really rose to the occasion. So please tell us what you're doing in Hackensack.
You're very welcome. Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me again. Here in Hackensack, let me say who I am first. My name is Matthew Antista. I've been a member of the Hackensack Police Department for approximately 15 years. I think January, I start my 15th year. I've been a juvenile detective for the past year. It took me a long time to get here, but I finally got here. And we really talk to the youth about the dangers of using illicit drugs. I am a instructor of the junior academy, just like Sergeant Yu is in Rivervale. And I am not a lead instructor yet, but I am going to school for it coming up soon. Can't wait to start that. Here in Hackensack, every officer carries Narcan on them, just like every officer in Bergen County. And I just have some numbers here I want to go over just to show that it is helping. As of 2020, we've had a total of 48 Narcan deployments. 45 of those were non-fatal, and unfortunately 3 were fatal. As of 2021, we had a total of 37 Narcan deployments. 34 of them were non-fatal, and 3 of them being fatal. Now, as of this date in 2022, we've had a total of 29, which is a little bit less than what we had at this point last year. So far, only 2 have been fatal. So it is helping. It is decreasing the amount of fatal overdoses that we see here in the city of Hackensack. We're lucky enough in the city of Hackensack to have a dedicated narcotics unit. I wish one of them had the time to come on here with me, but unfortunately they're out doing investigations. But I did get a chance to speak to them. And they let me know that they investigate every overdose that happens in the city. They reach out to all the victims. They provide them with every possible resource that they could possibly, give them to get them help, to get them over their disease. And like struggling with addiction is a lifelong disease. It's a lifelong issue that unfortunately has become a problem. In the city of Hackensack, we have been seeing a lot more of the fentanyl rather than the heroin, but we also are part of the what's called the Drug Monitoring Initiative. Okay, it's funded by the DEA, but it's part of the New Jersey State Police. It's ran out of the Rock, the New Jersey State Police, and it's basically it's a computer system where you update and you give all the information that you have about different packaging and where it all came from. So if we had an overdose here in Hackensack that was fatal and we upload our information to that system with, what the stamp is on the paper or what the pills look like, every agency that's part of this program, we can also see if they ran into the same drug, if who they dealt with was a dealer or if it was a user, and we can kind of get a better understanding of where they're all coming from. This way we can crack down on the dealers or the stash houses or anything like that. I have been lucky enough not to have any personal problems with addiction, but I do have family members. I have a cousin who is unfortunately, going through his recovery. He's, dealing with his issues. He's on Suboxone and stuff like that. So he's going through it, and it does hit home, and it really gets me excited that we have groups like this that are willing to go out there and put it all out there for everyone to see and to get everybody the help that they need. And I'm glad that I was invited to be a part of it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Like I said, coming in last moment, and I think not like I don't know what the percentage is, but there's got to be a really high percentage that all of us have been affected by somebody somewhere, family or friend, that has had some type of substance use disorder issue, whether it be alcohol or some kind of drugs. And it is just so important, again, that we have, like you said, just the ability to be able to come together and have these conversations. And I talk about this often because one thing that we learn in 12-step recovery is that we are powerless over alcohol and drugs, and that that it made our life unmanageable. But the thing is I think that this if this was a state of emergency, like it is a state of emergency, but if this was like a hurricane, just saying, right? I mean, we would be prepared. We would be taking all the water off the shelves. We would, be making sure that our houses are locked down or whatever. And here's a situation. And if somebody was in trouble, that the community would be there in a flash, right? They would just be there in a flash, because that's the way Bergen County people are. They so much are like that. They would, I think all counties are like that, but they would show up. They would provide whatever they can for that person. Now, here we are in a state of emergency, and people don't really know what to do, because they feel powerless. And the thing that we learn in 12-step recovery and, in recovery is that, putting yourself into action and being able to be of service to somebody else makes you feel good, and it gives you a degree of feeling that you're responding to some type of higher calling, right? So here we are, and it might not seem like much, but it is. This is something good, and we have to just keep this going and find more ways to come together so we can have these conversations, which are so important, because it is a brain disease. We have to talk. We have to process feelings and thoughts and emotions. So thank you for sharing what you shared, because it's important that we all recognize that we all know somebody. And I appreciate that so much. Right. So our next guest is a great resource, and I'm so excited to be able to ask Alex. Oh, there he is now. Ask Alex to come on, because I've had the pleasure of getting to know Alex. Now, I know that the prosecutor's office knows Alex quite well because he's spoken for many of the pathway of addiction discussions that you've had. And Alumni in Recovery has had the pleasure of being able to incorporate Alex into our fold. And he goes and speaks in schools when he can take some time off, as long as his bosses and everything give him it's a little bit of time, and he always squeezes it in. He's amazing that way. He just shows up, and that's something in recovery we do. We show up. And so here's the lovely thing about Alex. I got to meet him through Bergen Newbridge because he was working over in detox there at the time. And that's where I started to get to know him. And here's a really cool fact about Bergen Newbridge. I just want everybody that's on this call to know. I work at Bergen Newbridge. Bergen Newbridge it's a huge facility that provides for people that need addiction treatment. I mean, it's so great that way. There's Alex will correct me. I think there's 80 detox beds. It could be 60, but I think there's 80. And there's plenty of inpatient rehab beds too. So Alex will say this, but he reminded me that Bergen Newbridge was open, taking patients into detox during COVID, when nobody else was. They were doing that, and that's just, I just want to say hats off, because I think that that's something that we just have to recognize, how much there was a lot of hard work during COVID, but I want to thank them for that. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Alex, and you can talk all about New Jersey reentry. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. And it's 60 beds right now. They used to have 80 back when there was the fourth floor. There was beds open there, but actually, it was during COVID that they lost that. But yeah, we never stopped taking admissions during COVID. It was that time I was working at Newbridge full time, and we were doing admissions on the front grass by the flagpole. And I'm talking like when COVID first happened, when the entire world shut down, and we couldn't even place them in treatment after because no place was doing admissions. But that was something that we never stopped doing, and people still showed up. It wasn't a lot, but we still had about 3, 4, 5 people a day sometimes. So yeah, thank you for saying that. I remember telling you that. I definitely want to shout out Newbridge for that. Still working at Newbridge, just on the weekends though. Now I'm at New Jersey Reentry. Hold on. I lost you for a second. Sorry.
You're back.
Can you hear
me?
Back.
You're there.
I'm back?
Yes, you are.
All right. Yeah, so thank you for having me. Thank you, Sergeant and Detective, for being here. I think it's great when law enforcement comes out and shows the other side of themselves, because going through it when you're struggling and really battling to get to that recovery side, there can be some stigma towards law enforcement. But in my experience these past couple of years, especially working with the prosecutor's office, and all the work they did, that it's been a great partnership. Mark mentioned a couple of the recovery support initiatives. I was blessed to be a part of those over the past couple of years, including the Fair Loan Initiative. And I could be wrong about this, but I think I remember at the time hearing that was like the first real initiative of its kind, going into the court system, from the recovery side of things, and being able to talk to somebody and sit across from the table and being like, I know what you're going through right now. I've sat on that side. I've gone to court. I've had charges before, and I was able to do that. Like I said, I was really blessed to do that with a number of programs and initiatives, including the ORP, going in bedside to all the hospitals, right up until when COVID happened. I was going into the Bergen County jail every day and talking to people who, because of the no bail reform, were getting released and offering recovery support services inside there. So Bergen County does a lot. And now I'm over at Reentry Corporation, New Jersey Reentry Corporation, in the Hackensack location. We have the agency as a whole has 10 locations, so we're in 10 different counties. And what's really great about that is if, somebody comes to us in one county, but they're able to move, we're still able to help them. We're still able to service them. But what New Jersey Reentry Corporation is, real quick, is it's a full wraparound service. It is not the same as a program because there's no real discharge. The services are as needed. So once somebody enrolls in the service, it becomes up to them. What it looks like for them. We offer case management, and what case managers do is they help with all different types of applications for social services like food stamps, applying people for Medicaid. And then we have a legal service coordinator. And what the legal service coordinator does, one of the things they do is they help obtain birth certificates, social security cards, replace IDs, help get the 6 points of identification to get an ID. We have a partnership with the Oakland DMV every other Friday. I take a van full of people down there. They help us out. We get in and out within an hour, everything we need. We fax all the documents beforehand. And they're also able to communicate with the courts, local municipal courts and probation officers. Sometimes they're able to help vacate warrants, vacate fines, change court dates. They're not legal assist, able to give legal advice, but they could do, everything else surrounding that. Another point that we touch on is employment. And we have an employment specialist in each office, and that comes with updating a resume, amongst other things. They're connected with employers that understand, that are background friendly, that anybody that we call is able to, they understand that the person, may have a record, and they're okay with that. And actually, our most recent partnership is with Bergen Newbridge, and we've been able to get about 10 or 12 people jobs right there, and that's a pretty good job. It's good benefits, and I know that. So I'm walking through the hospital and I see coworkers now, that were in my office at my other job during the week, and it's a good feeling. They're super grateful to be there, and then the final part is a social worker, right? So everybody that comes in gets a biopsychosocial assessment, and what they're able to do is make any type of clinical referral for any level of care, or treatment that may be needed. Again, we partner with Newbridge and their Evergreen department. If someone's on MAT, they can, see the doctor from our office. They don't have to go all the way to Paramus. They're able to stay in Hackensack. And between all those services, if somebody comes for something, at the very beginning, maybe they just need an ID, but who knows what they need 6, 8, 7, 9 months, a year later down the road. I've been working there for a year and a half now. I'm the director of the Hackensack office, and I always tell this story because it was my first day. It was the first individual that I met, the first participant, and I thought he was new, because there's a new orientation every week with new people coming in every week. It turns out he had done the orientation 2 years earlier. He is just coming back to update his resume, and he wanted to use the computer lab for something. And right there, I knew that, this service was different. I was also a little bit taken back because I had done all this community work for a couple years prior, and I had never really heard of them. So one of my main goals has just been trying to get the word out there the past year and a half that I've been there, because I really think that it's an untapped in resource. It has the name Reentry Services, and there's even stigma behind that. You don't have to be just getting released from jail or prison. You don't even have to be on probation. Any type of court involvement, any level of court involvement, that's even at a small municipal level, that even if charges were, this, downgraded or even dismissed, we're able to help them. We've also been, again, working with New Bridge. I've said, gonna shout about one more time. We go on to the rehab units and we enroll participants with services and help them, start the process to getting the ID, let them leave treatment with a resume. Everyone that enrolls with us is federally bonded. So we give them information for whatever county they're going back to. We find resources. We present them with a folder, and what that does is it helps alleviate a little bit of, the pressure they're putting on themselves. There's I was told somewhere in one of the jobs that one of the things I was doing in my life, that because I used to work in rehab, that the highest rate, that when people AMA and they leave treatment is right around their second or third week. And they do that because, from my experience talking to people, is they're so worked up on fixing their life and what went on outside. And they just want a quick fix and get everything done. So they're not even focused on their recovery. So we try to help the mind be at ease for a little bit and make their treatment so they can focus on their recovery. We through all that coming in to the office and completing the orientation, we're able to help get them sometimes housing, and that's what I've noticed is one of the bigger issues is on top of dealing with like a opiate epidemic, we also have like a housing crisis that we're dealing with, and we don't really have a lot of resources for that, but that's something that we're always trying to work on and help with, among other things. And I guess, I don't know, Nancy, if my boss is here, if Jim was going to come on, if he wanted to say something.
I don't know either. If anybody doesn't know that, I don't know if everybody knows that, but is he the actual founder of the program? He's the director, correct?
No,
The chairman of the board.
The CEO, founder. It's his show.
Former Governor James McGreevey founded New Jersey Reentry, and actually, it's an astounding backstory to that. If anybody's ever interested, they really should look it up. It's really very much a story of just incredible growth and redemption of life. He really does. He inspires people, and that's how we got started with it. But I just, Alex, you do so many good services. I think that it would be really great and valuable if you put your information in the chat for anybody that wants to get in touch with you, because you are such a valuable service. Just the fact that you help so many people with any court, like any legal court issue that somebody has, that you can help people, especially just like, I can't believe you take them to go get your licenses. I mean, that's a really big deal, because I used to work at Springhouse. I mean, to get people back on their feet, it can be tricky if they don't have transportation and stuff. So like just for example, when do you take everybody to the DMV on a bus?
Every other Friday, we have a van. I take a van full of guys down, guys and girls down there. But one thing I almost completely forgot to mention, you remind me, is we have a training facility too. It's been open for a year now. Right. It's Carney. We every day we take people down there, and for me, that's the biggest part right there. Is these are all state accredited certifications, and this is where I draw the similarities with all the work I used to do as a recovery specialist, because when I was working in Newbridge or like I said, in the jail, working with individuals in fair law court, one of the things that we did when we sat down together was we created a recovery wellness plan. And we tapped into all how the recovery affected all aspects of life. Like I said, housing, employment, family relationships, and everything like that. And one of the biggest issues I always came across was employment. And, people get out, and there's, you've heard it before, they're called early recovery jobs, and like, they're great and they're important and they help teach things like accountability. But after so long, some things have got to change, to keep people going. So we have a training facility and it's completely free for anybody that's a participant with us. We do things like HVAC, solar panel installation. There's even smaller trainings that aren't as long, like 3 or 4 months. There's ones that are like 3 or 4 weeks, and they're like general construction packages with OSHA and electric. And we have a Cisco training, that just wrapped up. It's like the second, if you're into computers or IT, apparently it's like the second highest training that you can get. And we don't just say like here's your certificate, congratulations. We're partnered with agencies that are ready to meet with these individuals and give them a chance for employment. So what I notice is like I said, watching someone go in, and it's different when you tell somebody like, oh, go to enroll in school, and that's 4 or 5 years. Somebody may not be able to think that far ahead, but if there's short-term measurable goals that someone can dedicate 2-3 weeks or even 2-3 months, and then come out at the other end with something obtainable, like a certificate, to put on our resume, something to feel good about. That's where I start to see the light go off and people's recovery really.
It's it's just such a valuable thing to watch people, just like you said, just blossom and improve. Recover, and just with the lights go back on, and you really see that they feel like they have such purpose. So thanks, Alex. Thanks for all you do. In fact, again, please put your information in the chat. That somebody put their information in the chat. And I think that if anybody wants to share resources, that's a great place to do it. And thanks. Thank you again, Alex.
Yeah, thank you. And again,
I don't think your boss came on. I wish he did. I really wanted to hear him say something. I'll give it, if he is here, Governor McGreevy, by all means, say something. But anyway, let me just, I do want to just once again, just say thanks to everybody that participated. And I know that Dee Gillen's here, and I want to know if she will talk in just a minute about what an upcoming Black Poster Project event. Would you do that, Dee? Dee Gillen?
Hi, everybody. I just want to thank everyone for participating tonight. It really means so much to both of our organizations that you're all with us and work with us, and we work with you. It's really important to make that connection, and I feel that personally as well. But so we did the Overdose Awareness Day. The prosecutor hosted us, and we were happy to see all of you there. I have a couple of events coming up. There's one on Wednesday in Park Ridge at Our Lady of Mercy, if anybody's interested in attending. We'll be setting up on Tuesday, and it's going to be filmed. So looking forward to that. So we have a few events, and they're all up on my website now if you'd like to check it out and stop by. We always ask for police officers and anybody in your field to come and be at our events so that the people that come see we work together. It makes it less frightening to them. So thank you again for everything you do. It's much appreciated.
Absolutely. Just being able to work alongside you all, it really means a lot. It really does. So let's keep that going. And yes, again, it's Park Ridge. This coming Wednesday, the Black Poster Project. They're all in the pews. It's absolutely. I've never been to that church. They did a couple last 2 summers ago. I didn't get a chance to come because I was away, but I heard that it's the most magnificent church. And yeah, so if anybody has that opportunity to get there, it starts at 5. And like Dee said, it's on her website, which is www.theblackposterproject.com. And I already mentioned that we will be at One Bergen County Plaza, and hopefully they'll have a live event there. They're scheduling, so stay tuned for that. Prosecutor Musella, do you have anything else you want to add?
No, again, just thank you for having me. And I just really believe in this event. That's why I'm on every month, and I just thank you for recognizing the police officers, the men and women in law enforcement that are fighting this fight every day. And I think it's important to have this event And I think it's important that we talk about this. And again, thank you for your leadership, your inspiration, and your partnership. And the same with you, Dee. Thank you so much.
Okay,
And
thank
just,
you.
again, the last, let me know where and when, and I'll be there, and people from my office will be there.
Oh, okay, good. Well, we will. Don't worry. I got your number. I know where to find you. I'll be like sending you an email for sure. In fact, everybody on this call will be getting an email from me. But I do want to say at 8 o'clock, Morgan Kennedy, who is our operations manager and a great alumni and recovery member too. She's just a sparkling example of somebody young in recovery. She is doing a meditation circle tonight, right after. If anybody wants to participate in it, it will be, here's the information. It's, I think it's live on Facebook, but it also has a code. Take a picture of it if you want to show up. She does a really lovely guided meditation. I'm going to go do it because I enjoy doing them. It's a nice way to relax. It really is. So, anyway, I guess that's pretty much our program tonight. And if anybody, I see Officer Stanislaw over there in the audience. He's been coming to some of these. I'm hoping we can get Glen Rock next time. So I'm hoping we can see if Glen Rock can come on the next time. So I'll be reaching out to y'all. And thank you again. Thanks all of you wonderful officers. Keep doing what you do. And just please know that we really care. We see you. It's what you're doing and responding to all these overdose calls. That takes a lot out of anybody. So thank you so much for doing what you do.
Yeah, and Nancy, I think it's important what Dee said too. And again, I know the officers are busy and they got their home lives and their families, but when officers come to these events, and I think the people that are struggling with substance abuse disorder see them, I think the bond becomes stronger between law enforcement and the community. The community just trusts law enforcement more, and especially people that are struggling with substance abuse disorder, and the relationship between police officers hasn't always been as comfortable as it is now, and as trusting as it is now, and as we have a partnership now with law enforcement, and that wasn't the case. So I think when officers come out, people in recovery see that it helps end the stigma, and they're more willing to seek treatment and to seek out the police to help them. So thank you for the officers who do come to these events.
That's that was a powerful statement, and thank you so much for saying that. It means a lot to the families too. So
Nancy, may I say something? Is that all right?
Hi. Who are you?
This is Patrice Lenowitz.
Oh, hello. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. And thank you for inviting me tonight. I'm so grateful to have met you, unfortunately, through a tragedy, but I'm really grateful to all of you for the work that you're doing. I just wanted to say a couple things real fast. I work with Governor McGreevey and the New Jersey Reentry Corporation. My company, Posigen, is one of the companies that hires. We provide training for solar and energy efficiency, but that's not the reason why I wanted to talk tonight. The reason why I wanted to talk tonight is because my son just died at 25 of a fentanyl overdose. It may perhaps have been accidental overdose. He was found with marijuana and a Xanax pill. So I really am going to be leaning on to all of you for your help and support, but I'm also going to be a part of championing, raising awareness. I know that part of the challenge that we face is childhood trauma, adverse childhood experiences with, if you look that up in the CDC and the science, it tells us how our young people are impacted by it could be drug and alcohol addiction in the family. It could be the death of a parent. It could be, a parent in the home that struggles with mental illness, or a family member, and all these things impact them and lead them to depression, addiction, and shortened lifespan. So I would love to talk to you more about that, but I also wanted to mention the New Jersey Reentry Corporation. I put it there in the chat. They're having a fentanyl event, Addiction and the Curse of Fentanyl Strategies and Treatment at Seton Hall in South Orange on September 20th. I put the link there if anyone is interested in
That's
attending.
great. Yeah, no, that is,
You're gonna be there.
I'll be there too.
I'll
So
be there.
thank you. That was a great idea. I look forward
Yeah,
to
and I'll
being
be
there.
there.
Patrice, thank you so much for coming on, and we look forward to seeing more of you. Thank you very much, and appreciate that.
Grateful to
so-
all of you.
Thanks. Okay, so this is we're ending it. We're gonna get going, and I want to thank you all again for coming, and we will see you next time. Thank you again. And Prosecutor Musella, I'm gonna hold you to those words. Those were beautiful words. I hope you don't mind if we use them sometime. Great. Thank you.